Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics. This is a show where we get to the stories behind the headlines in domestic politics. I'm Nistula Hebbar, the political editor of the paper, who will be guiding you through this episode. Now, this week was all about the Laddu Prasadam offered at the Sri Venkateshwara temple in Tirumala, Tirupati. The allegations and reports that the ghee, the clarified butter used in making the world-famous Laddu Prasadam, was adulterated with animal fat like beef tallow and lard, which is quite considered beyond the pale as far as the Hindu faith is concerned. The issue soon assumed a political hue with unforeseen consequences even within the Sangh Parivar led by the RSS. Now, what is all of this about? Now, this will be the subject of this episode of Talking Politics. As always, let's begin with what the controversy was about. Last week, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and TDP Telugu Desam Party Chief N. Chandrababu Naidu made a shocking statement that animal fat had been used to make the prasadam at the Sri Venkateshwara temple in Tirupati, and that this act was committed during the tenure of former Chief Minister and YSRCP leader Jagan Mohan Reddy. Now, the chairperson of the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Board, J. Shamala Rao, made public the report of the National Dairy Development Board that appeared to certify Mr. Naidu's claims. In terms of sattvic food, etc., any kind of non-vegetarian dishes or anything is completely anathema, especially for offerings made to the deity, an avatar of Vishnu, Sri Venkateshwara. And therefore, this had all the ingredients of becoming a big controversy, which it has become now. Now, political reactions to these allegations flew thick and fast, with Jagan Mohan Reddy denying that his government had anything to do with the reported adulteration of the prasadam, and that Mr. Naidu had made the allegations because his own government didn't have much to show in the 100 days that it had been in power. Added to the fact are basically aspersions from before cast on Jagan Mohan Reddy's government. Since Mr. Reddy happens to be a Christian, there were a lot of allegations raised even when he was chief minister that non-believers should not be made in charge of places of worship of particular religions. So if you don't believe in that particular religion, how can you run the richest shrine of that particular faith? So all of these things combine to give it a new Hindutva hue. Union Health Minister and BJP President JP Nadda declared that he had asked for a report from the Andhra Pradesh government about the adulteration to apportion blame and fix accountability. And that has been the official statement from the BJP since then. All spokespersons, etc., saying it is important to apportion blame and fix responsibility. That should be the first priority of the Andhra government with regard to this issue. Now, as I said before, the controversy surrounding the TTD has not been new. When the TDP government had been in power earlier, the YSRCP had alleged that a pink gem or ratnam in the Tirupati shrine treasury had gone missing. And when the government changed, that controversy went away. I mean, nobody spoke about it afterwards. When YSRCP was in power, as I said, allegations were made about the Christian faith of Jagan Mohan Reddy and how this was a mismatch in terms of handling the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam Board. These allegations, in fact, were raised by the BJP pretty frequently in that tenure. The allegations and counter-allegations have flown thick and fast. But in all of this, it was Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan, however, who has emerged as a prominent face in the issue, demanding that a Sanatana Dharma Rakshana Board be set up at a national level to look into all the issues related to temples in the entire length and breadth of the country. A demand that has found resonance with the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, one of the frontal organizations of the RSS-led Sangh Parivar. And this is where we part ways with the issue as being just related to the Sri Venkateshwara temple shrine to a larger issue of temple management arising out of it. Now, Hindu temples in India are largely handled by state governments, and several states across the country have enacted legislative and regulatory frameworks to regulate these institutions through the powers accorded by the Constitution. In 1960, in fact, the Hindu Religious Endowments Commission declared that government control over temples was essential to prevent maladministrations. Temples have revenue management issues, of course. There's, in terms of financial exchanges, etc., that there needs to be transparency there because there's a lot of public money that goes there, but also issues related to social management with government control ensuring that all castes get entry into Hindu places of worship, that untouchability does not arise. And therefore, this management of Hindu temples by the governments gets a constitutional fillip because the Constitution of India has abolished untouchability as part of its fundamental rights. The VHP, however, believes that just as mosques, gurdwaras, and churches manage their own affairs, Hindu temples should also be handed back to society. They also passed a resolution last week in Tirupati itself. Now, the last time this issue was flagged or foregrounded was during the agitation around the question of allowing women to worship at Sabarimala, where customarily women are prevented from doing so. At that time, the Supreme Court had allowed it, but not before many Hindu groups protested that it was a breach of faith, that it came into the way of the Hindu community practicing its religion and customs. Now, religion is a matter of faith, and religious observance is usually kept apart from matters of legislation. But in the case of Hindu temples, the temple entry movement and the socially progressive independence movement has meant that after the country became free, the government stepped in to prevent the barring of certain castes from entering temples or observance of untouchability in Hindu temples. These are rights enshrined, as I said, in the Constitution of India, and the government felt that it needed to be in charge of temples to make sure that the Constitution was implemented with regard to temple entry and to prevention of the practice of untouchability. Now, this is an issue which keeps the current management system of the Hindu temples in place. It is a complicated issue. This is not just about simple logic that is put forward by the VHP saying that just as every other religious community has the right to do whatever it wants in terms of management of its places of worship, Hindu temples should also be freed from government control. Now, BJP has not commented officially on whether it is on board with the resolution of the VHP. There's been complete silence from the BJP on this issue. Trust me, I have tried. I have called up people to get a reaction out of them on what they have to say about their sister organization, but there has been absolute silence in this on this issue. According to some leaders who I spoke with in connection with this story, the party on the whole has not taken a line on the issue, and the BJP is thinking about the fact that it's not just in power at the center, but also in several state governments. And if it agrees with the VHP demand, that calls for it to put legislation where its mouth is, will be shrill. It will also have to answer questions posed by the opposition parties on the issue of ensuring social justice within temple management boards when it is trying to cede control. Therefore, this question is not just related to other religions being allowed to manage their places of worship versus Hindus not being allowed, but a deeply social and political matter, which the BJP is not sure that it wants to expend its political capital on at the moment, especially when it has lost over 60 Lok Sabha seats in 2024 compared to the 303 seats that it won in 2019. Please remember that Samvidhan khatre mein hai aur Arakshan khatam ho jayega, that the constitution is in danger and that the BJP is asking for 400 plus seats to effect deep constitutional changes to make sure to end reservations as we know it. This was a very, very potent campaign plank of the opposition, and BJP leaders also admit that this did lead to big losses for the party in certain states. Now, as far as I can see, the Tirupati Laddu Prasadam issue has spun into a political controversy in Andhra Pradesh, with Pawan Kalyan emerging as a Hindutva hero in the state. For the BJP, the spilling of the controversy to other larger demands made by its own sister organization is not something that they counted down. Now, we can visit this story again if the BJP comes up with any comprehensive statement on the VHP's demand. Until then, this is all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week.